Evangelion episode 15, the wedding reception one, the one where Masato goes out and gets wasted. Surprisingly, I actually gave a fuck about this episode in certain segments. There were times where I genuinely enjoyed myself and was kind of curious as to where it was going. And for a couple of moments there, I really started to wonder whether I was like, now in episode 15, start to warm up to the series and start to really care about these characters. I really wonder if that's going to keep happening until like the very end. But no, like as always, everything gets completely shit on. Like even within this episode itself, like just nothing works really. Like the character drama doesn't really work that well. Like it's just like wow, big whoop. Kanji betrayed them. Whatever. Is a traitor. Whatever. Um, they show Adam. No, no, I don't. I don't give a shit. Like it doesn't mean anything. Like to me, like at all. Just I don't give a shit about this. And there are just so many times here where I genuinely thought like this is, in spite of all the problems, probably my favorite Evangelion episode. I can't really think of any of the others that actually got me going like this one did. Like I said, maybe like the first couple of episodes, like all the other ones have been kind of boring, just predictable bullshit. But this one is just kind of I don't know, like a lot of stuff actually sort of happens in this one. Like people actually do stuff. There are some revelations. There's some real character drama. Uh, sh- I just it just kind of doesn't really work in spite of like the good moments. Like it just sort of falls apart by the end of the episode, and not in like a good way or anything. There are some things I like of course Asuka in general is great. Like again, I really like Asuka. Like everything with Asuka makes me laugh. Like her obsession with kanji, like when she's fucking calling him on the phone and then she pretends like she's getting raped to try to get him to call back sooner. Like uh, making out with Shinji for like no reason other than she's bored, like bitching about the perfume, like doing all of this shit. Like the moment at the end where like Kanji walks out on her, like all of that was great. Like Asuka is my favorite character. In contrast, Rei, at this point in the story, I still have no idea why Rei is significant or important at all. And just like there are so many times where like she's on screen doing something and it just does not amount to much other than like complete bullshit. Like one time in this early on in the episode, Shinji is like hanging out with her in an elevator and he's just like, "Hey Rei," tried to put the moves on Rei. Uh, try to like work his magic. He's just like, "Hey Rei, you held that cleaning cloth like a mom," and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, who the fuck says that to anyone? Like, yeah, next time I walked up to a chick, I'll be like, hey, you look like my mom. My mom used to do that, like just like you do just now, just like fucking bullshit. And then like Ray blushes for some reason. Like, here's the thing about Ray that really fucking pisses me off. Like, pissed me off from the get go. Is that she's clearly supposed to be this like emotional girl with like attachment problems, you know. But there, whenever she's on screen, she typically shows some kind of emotion. Like, like she smiles occasionally, she blushes a lot, like she talks with Gendo. Like I read, this is one of the things that made me realize that the Evangelion creator is a hack. Like I read that the creator wanted to make Rei this like creepy, incredibly distant, like emotionally unaffected person, and like to showcase how creepy that sort of person would be. And like nobody, and I mean nobody, thinks of Rei as creepy. Like, not the fans, not the characters, not random people passing by. No one thinks Rei is creepy. Like, how do you conceptualize a character and then fuck up their core character trait that fucking badly? I'm just like, wow, fucking ridiculous. Rei, I don't know. I don't want to say I dislike her. Like, I think she just she doesn't really do anything. Like, ooh, she's closer to Shinji's dad than he is. Who cares? Like, really? Like, ooh, just um, I think I made fun of the premise of this episode. Like, there are no fights in this one. Again, it's just character moments. And again, some of the character moments are kind of interesting, where like a Kanji and Masato sort of hang out and like talk about their relationship and stuff like that. And there are times where it's interesting, and then other times where it becomes complete bullshit. Like where the end, where like Masato ends up pointing a gun, and I'm like, I don't really fucking stupid. Like I just did not like. There was no sense of progression with that relationship. There was no like real foreshadow. Well, I guess there was foreshadowing that Kanji was up to something, but just like they always do this thing. Like okay, so there's this scene where Masato starts rambling about like all of her problems and bullshit, and like I'm just sitting here like really really invested. Like we're gonna learn more about Masato, or more about her background, more about her like feelings about everything, and then she's just like, I know better than, out of nowhere she's like, I know better than Shinji, and I'm just like, what? What? Shinji has been like fighting angels without fail since the start of the season, like since the start of the series, right? Like he got in the damn robot, okay? It's over, okay? Not an issue. Like he got in the damn. That's another thing that bothers me about Evangelion. Is that like the show desperately wants to portray like Shinji as being this whiny bitch who can't accomplish anything. Like he can't fuck Asuka or even make out with her. He can't do all this shit. Like he doesn't want to get in the robot because he knows he can't do it, but he somehow does. He somehow can. It just like better than Asuka. If the preview for the next episode is anything to go by, it's just like, wow, this show does not handle depression very well at all. Because like there are so many times where I feel like I don't know, they don't handle Shinji's characterization at all. Like there's so many times where he like looks with happy with what he's doing and like having fun with stuff, and even like he's even like acted excited about getting in the Eva at some points. Yeah, getting the robot Shinji, that guy, he fucking was excited to get into an Eva at one point, like at least one point, like whatever. Like apparently it's a big deal, but it's not. Like it really fucking isn't. Like even his father problems. Like so many people try to tell me that like Gendo Ikari is this like super terrible parent, and I'm just like sitting here watching this, and I really do feel this way. Is that like I don't really see it at all. Like I really really don't. Like he's not abusive or anything. Like sure he had Shinji get in the Eva, but Shinji is one of the only people who can do that. Like I don't really see what the whole big deal is. Like because he's not like there for him. Like plenty of parents are like that. Like shit, it's not that big of a deal, you know? Like I don't get it. And like Shinji's so like whiny about this, like all the fucking time. It's just really really weird. Like that sequence where they're standing around the grave, like just hanging out with their mother. Like it's supposed hanging out with Shinji's dead mom. Okay, she apparently wasn't buried there, but whatever. They were just standing there like talking, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I just don't really. They're trying to make Gendo seem like really cold and really distant, but like I don't fucking see it. Like I really don't. Like it's just like I get the impression that a truly like cold person would not bother doing something like that at all. Like I just don't get it. Like I don't really get the sort of fascination with this idea that like Gendo is a super terrible parent, like one of the worst anime parents of all time. Like so much so that it's a meme. Like I just don't get it. Like I don't know, man. Like the only thing wrong here is that Shinji is being a bitch about it. Like your dad is just like that, okay? It's not a big deal. Like shit, just deal with it. Like it's not that complicated. Uh, again, like it's that whole thing, right? Where people, I think Evangelion fans have this tendency to read too much into situations and to like pretend they're like some character traits that aren't actually there. Because like 15 episodes in, and I'm not convinced that like Gendo is like the super terrible parent. I'm not convinced that like piloting the Eva is a bad thing or like something Shinji absolutely cannot do. Like I don't get like the impression that these people are like emotionally damaged in any way. Like I don't get the impression. Well, aside from Asuka, like again, Asuka is a standout in that like I actually understand her and her motivations, and she seems to have like a real character arc. And I'm starting to see like the cracks here with her. Like again, Asuka I think is like the one well written character on this show. I think she's interesting. Like I like the character. I like her voice and her jokes and like her shit. Like everything about her is just like it just sort of works. Oh, okay. I don't like the over sexualization of her. Like that to me really bothers me. Like I know she and Ray like fly by naked in the opening, and I suppose that's worse. But like there are so many times in this, so many times where like there's all this weird fan service regarding her that like doesn't really shit. She's like 14. Like, okay, I don't want to look at 14-year-olds, okay? My 14-year-old that ended when I stopped being 14, okay? Just fuck. Okay. So, yeah. This entire thing is just like fucking hate that. Like the edit like I hear this is the kind of stuff I've been like thinking about. Is just like, yeah, the characters like uh the, I don't know. It just does not seem like this show was very well conceived or like produced at all in like so many instances. And like people have made up this narrative that like, ooh, it's one of the all-time best anime. I don't fucking see it, especially if the ending is as bad as people say it is. Like I've already had people tell me not to continue bothering watching the actual series, but I just kind of want to. I don't see this as being particularly dark. I'm not like I don't care about the conspiracy. I don't care about like the history of the world of Evangelion. I don't care about like any of this. Like it's just a really terrible anime, and I am not afraid to call it out for what it is.